Let's get real for a second. You spend your life running from pain, don't you? Dodging every ounce of discomfort like it's the plague. You're convinced that the path to happiness is paved with ease, convenience, and zero friction. Or are you just going to keep living that lie, convincing yourself that if you just avoid enough unpleasantness, everything will magically be fine? If that's your game, click away. This channel is not for the faint of heart. But if you're sick of being stuck in your comfortable, mediocre rut, if you're tired of being paralyzed by the slightest fear of discomfort, if you're ready to break free from the invisible chains of convenience, then lean in. This video is for the warriors of self-improvement, for those who seek true strength and who want to understand why the ancient Stoics didn't just tolerate pain, they embraced it, seeing it as the ultimate teacher, not an enemy. We're about to unlock the raw, brutal power of discomfort. This isn't some self-help sugarcoating. This is Stoic Punch. Put on your headphones, cut out the distractions, get ready to face head-on what you most avoid, because the discomfort you run from, that, my friend, is your freedom in disguise. This is where your unbreakable will is forged. Let's be brutally honest about the modern disease, the comfort trap. We live in a world designed for maximum ease, minimal friction. Every app, every service, every product is tailored to remove any ounce of discomfort from your life. And you've bought into it, hook, line, and sinker. Think about it. You desperately want to get in shape, but you don't start that rigorous workout routine because you know it will involve sweating, muscle soreness, and waking up early. The thought of that physical discomfort is enough to keep you on the couch, scrolling through endless feeds. You don't even begin the hard work because the idea of pain is too much. You dream of starting your own business, but you don't take the first step. Building a website, making a sales call, dealing with bureaucratic hurdles. Because the uncertainty, the potential for rejection, the sheer difficulty of it all feels overwhelming. You're paralyzed by the discomfort of the unknown, the risk of failure, the grind. So you stay in the safe, comfortable, but soul-crushing job. Or consider your relationships. You're in a relationship that's clearly not working, maybe even toxic, but you cling to it. Why? Because the discomfort of loneliness, the pain of a breakup, the awkwardness of being single again, that feels like a mountain you can't climb. So you stay in a comfortable misery, avoiding the necessary pain for a chance at true happiness. You want to learn a new skill, a language, a musical instrument? You buy the books, download the apps. But the moment it gets hard, the moment you encounter a complex grammar rule or a difficult chord, you quit. The frustration, the mental strain, the discomfort of feeling stupid. That's your breaking point. This isn't just about grand gestures, it's about the million tiny discomforts you avoid every day. That difficult conversation you postpone, the messy room you don't clean, the challenging book you don't read, the small task you delegate because it's too much trouble. You've built a life designed to avoid any kind of friction, and in doing so, you've trapped yourself in a prison of comfort. A prison where growth is impossible, where true strength remains undeveloped, and where freedom is just a word you hear on motivational videos. Now, this is where the Stoics, these ancient masters of resilience and self-mastery, offer a concept so radically different from modern thinking, it's almost offensive. They didn't just tolerate discomfort, they embraced it. They understood that life is supposed to be hard. They didn't whine about it. They didn't seek to escape it. Instead, they saw adversity, pain, and discomfort not as enemies, but as indispensable training grounds for the mind and spirit. Think of Epictetus, the former slave who taught that the highest good is to control what is within your power. He lived a life of physical hardship, yet he taught profound serenity. How? By understanding that the external event, the pain, the difficulty, the setback, is neutral. It just is. What matters is your response to it. Most people believe that to be happy, you must remove all pain. The Stoics flipped that on its head. They argued that avoiding pain leads to weakness, to fragility. It's like a muscle that never gets challenged. It atrophies. Your character, your discipline, your inner strength, these are muscles that only grow through resistance, through discomfort, through the very things you've been so diligently avoiding. This isn't about masochism. It's about strategic growth. It's about understanding that the path of least resistance is often the path of least fulfillment. You cannot become truly strong, truly resilient, truly free if you are constantly shielding yourself from anything that feels unpleasant. The Stoics didn't say, don't feel pain. They said, use it. Let's clarify a crucial distinction that most people miss: the difference between pain and suffering. Pain. This is the physical sensation, the emotional sting, the objective difficulty of an external event. It's an inevitable part of existence. A stubbed toe is pain. Losing a job is painful. A difficult conversation is painful. Suffering. This is the story you tell yourself about the pain. It's the prolonged emotional distress, the self-pity, the victimhood, the resistance to what is. The Stoics knew that pain is inevitable. You will experience physical discomfort, emotional heartache, frustrating setbacks. That's life. But suffering is largely optional. It's the extra layer you add on top of the pain through your interpretations and resistance. Think about a cold shower. The cold water hitting your skin is pain. It's uncomfortable, a physiological response. But the internal monologue, this is awful, I hate this, I can't stand it. Why am I doing this to myself? That's suffering. The Stoic approach is to embrace the pain, the cold water, and detach from the suffering, the internal whining. When you run from discomfort, you're not just running from pain. You're often running from the opportunity to build resilience, to learn, to grow. You're choosing short-term comfort over long-term strength, and that's a terrible trade-off. The Stoics didn't avoid the furnace. They walked into it, knowing that's where true metal is forged. So, how do we apply this brutal truth? By leveraging the Stoic dichotomy of control, the fundamental principle articulated by Epictetus. You do not control the external event of discomfort, the muscle soreness, the difficult client, the unexpected bill, but you absolutely control your thoughts, your actions, and most importantly, your reaction to that discomfort. Let's use examples. Scenario 1, physical discomfort, e.g. exercise. External event, pain. Your muscles burn during a tough workout. You're exhausted. Uncontrolled reaction, suffering and quitting. This is too hard. I can't do this. My body hurts too much. I need to stop. This leads to giving up, never seeing progress, reinforcing weakness. Controlled reaction, Stoic punch. This discomfort means I'm pushing my limits. This burn is growth. I will finish this set. I will focus on my breath. This is temporary and it's making me stronger. This leads to discipline, physical gains, and mental fortitude. Scenario 2, emotional discomfort, e.g. difficult conversation. External event, pain. Your heart races, your voice shakes, you feel fear during a confrontation. Uncontrolled reaction, suffering and avoidance. I hate conflict. This is so awkward. I'm going to say the wrong thing. I'd rather just ignore it. This leads to unresolved issues, resentment, and a lack of authentic connection. Controlled reaction, Stoic punch. This discomfort is a sign I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. My emotions are agitated, but I choose to speak calmly and assertively. I will focus on expressing myself clearly regardless of their reaction. This leads to clarity, stronger boundaries, and personal growth. Scenario 3, mental discomfort, e.g. learning something new and complex. External event, pain. Your brain hurts trying to grasp a new concept. You feel stupid, frustrated. Uncontrolled reaction, suffering and giving up. This is too hard. I'm not smart enough for this. I'll never understand it. This leads to stunted intellectual growth and missed opportunities. Controlled reaction, Stoic punch. This mental strain means I'm learning. This frustration is a sign of challenge, not a sign of incompetence. I will break it down into smaller steps. I will persist. This mental friction is building new pathways. This leads to mastery, increased intelligence, and mental resilience. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, understood this deeply. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not over external events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He wasn't saying don't feel pain. He was saying don't let the pain control you. Use it. Your discomfort is part of the world. Your reaction to it, your use of it, is your domain. That's where your strength lies. This isn't just about enduring pain when it's forced upon you. The Stoics took it a step further. They sought out voluntary discomfort, not for suffering's sake, but for training, for building resilience. Exercise 1. Embrace voluntary discomfort. Choose one small, uncomfortable thing to do today that you usually avoid. Make it conscious. Take a cold shower, even just 30 seconds at the end of your regular shower. Skip a meal, if healthy for you, and experience a little hunger. Walk somewhere instead of driving, even if it's longer. Do the most annoying task on your to-do list first. Practice saying no to something you usually say yes to out of obligation. As you do it, observe the discomfort. Don't fight it. Don't run from it. Just observe the sensations, the mental chatter. Remind yourself, this is not harming me. This is making me stronger. This is me training my will. This practice gradually expands your comfort zone, making you less reactive to involuntary discomforts. Exercise 2. The what can I use this for? Test. When an unexpected discomfort or pain arises, a frustrating delay, a criticism, a physical ailment, immediately ask yourself, what can I use this for? How can this strengthen me? Frustrating delay. I can use this to practice patience, to read, to reflect, to control my temper. Criticism. I can use this to examine my actions objectively, to learn, to practice not taking things personally, to reinforce my inner locus of control. Physical ailment. I can use this to practice acceptance, to appreciate my health when I have it, to focus on what I can control, rest, treatment, rather than what I can't. This shift in mindset from, why is this happening to me, to what can I use this for, is the ultimate Stoic punch. It transforms obstacles into opportunities, making you an alchemist of adversity. When you talk about embracing discomfort, many will immediately resist. But I just want to be happy. They'll scream. Why would I actively seek out pain? This stems from a deeply ingrained societal lie, the illusion of constant happiness. We're bombarded with images of effortless joy, of lives lived without a single struggle. This makes any discomfort feel like a personal failing, a sign that something is wrong. Your fear of feeling discomfort keeps you in the victim mentality. When something hard happens, your automatic script is, poor me. This shouldn't be happening. Life is unfair. This victimhood is convenient because it absolves you of responsibility. It allows you to externalize blame, but it also strips you of your power. The Stoics had a visceral hatred for exaggerated victimization because you know what their mantra was? It's not events that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. What Epictetus meant is, the world happens. You decide whether to deal with it or do a 40-minute dramatic monologue for the invisible audience in your head. You need to confront the lie that happiness means the absence of pain. True, deep fulfillment often comes through overcoming pain, not by avoiding it. The joy of finishing a marathon is proportional to the pain endured. The satisfaction of building a successful business is proportional to the discomfort of the grind. Your fear of discomfort is simply your mind trying to keep you small, safe, and utterly stagnant. It's time to call its bluff. Concept 1. Premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils, as a discomfort buffer. We touched on this in the previous script, but it's even more potent here. This isn't just about preparing for external problems. It's about mentally preparing for the discomfort those problems will bring. Before a challenging meeting, visualize not just the potential bad outcomes, but how you will feel anxious, frustrated, angry, and how you will respond calmly, strategically. Before starting a new hard project, anticipate the moments of mental fatigue, frustration, and doubt. Don't just prepare for the tasks, prepare for the internal discomfort of doing those tasks. This isn't being pessimistic, it's being strategic. When you anticipate obstacles, that they lose their power to destabilize you. When you anticipate discomfort, it loses its power to derail you. It becomes a known quantity, a part of the plan, rather than a shocking derailment. It's like taking an umbrella and it not raining. Better than not taking one and getting soaked. You're essentially inoculating yourself against the psychological shock of discomfort. Concept 2. The internal observer, Seneca's inner witness. Seneca suggested developing an internal observer, a part of you that observes your thoughts and actions without judgment. When you feel the impulse to avoid discomfort, don't fight it immediately. First, observe it with curiosity. Interesting. I want to skip this workout now because I'm feeling tired. Why? What am I feeling? This small distance between impulse and action creates space for conscious choices instead of automatic reactions. Your boss yells at you in front of everyone. Your instinct is to throw the monitor at his head and scream, "Fuck this job." But the stoic in you stops, thinks, does this depend on me? What do I gain by retaliating now? How do I get out of this situation with dignity? And then, instead of turning into the Ragnar maniac, you breathe deeply, respond calmly, and later resolve it strategically. You didn't stop feeling, you just stopped being a slave to what you felt. This principle is key to managing discomfort. You don't suppress the feeling of wanting to quit or the feeling of pain. You observe it. And in that observation, you find the space to choose a different, more powerful response. The great Stoic secret is, you can be a furnace inside and an iceberg outside. This isn't fakeness, it's sharp emotional intelligence. It's knowing that often whoever explodes first loses, and that being right doesn't mean winning, especially if you lose control in the process. Let's be absolutely clear. You cannot forge an unbreakable will from a life of ease. You cannot build resilience from a foundation of comfort. Discomfort is not a bug in the system. It's a feature. It's the crucible in which your character is tested, refined, and strengthened. Every time you consciously lean into discomfort, every time you choose the hard path over the easy one, you are sending a powerful message to yourself. I am stronger than my desire for comfort. I am capable of enduring. I am capable of growth. This isn't about suffering for suffering's sake. It's about strategic discomfort, about deliberately choosing the hard thing, knowing that on the other side of that temporary pain lies a stronger, more capable version of yourself. It's about training your mind to see challenges not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to prove your mettle. This is the Stoic way. This is how you stop being a slave to your impulses and start becoming the master of your own destiny. And now for the final, most brutal punch, the one that makes every excuse about comfort crumble to dust. You will die. I will die. Everyone will die. No matter how many detox juices you drink, how many meditation apps you use, or how many times you say gratitude during the day. In the end, we'll all turn to dust, worm food, or ashes thrown somewhere symbolic with sad music in the background. For most people, this is a huge taboo. Just thinking about death brings that existential panic, that chill down your spine, and the automatic impulse to change the subject. But for the Stoics, this was a daily reminder of how to live right. They called it memento mori, which literally means remember that you will die. Seems morbid? It's because you're still seeing death as a villain. The Stoics saw it as a teacher. Death, in the Stoic view, is the ultimate antidote against procrastination, arrogance, and bullshit. Because when you truly accept that your time here is limited, you stop wasting time on crap. And wasting time avoiding discomfort, staying small and stagnant, that's premium grade crap. When you remember your time is limited, distractions and self-sabotage lose their power. Ask yourself, if I had only 1 year to live, would I continue sabotaging myself this way, avoiding every challenging opportunity, staying stuck in my comfort zone? Stoicism doesn't tell you to live like you'll die tomorrow in a zombie apocalypse, but it forces you to look in the mirror and ask, am I living with intention or just surviving on autopilot? You're postponing life waiting for the right moment. Guess what? There is no right moment. There's now, and it might be the last. Do you want to reach the end of your finite time having lived a life of pampered ease, untouched by challenge, undeveloped in spirit? Or do you want to have the profound satisfaction of knowing you forged an unbreakable will, that you embraced every discomfort, and that you truly lived by leaning into the very things others ran from? The truth is, you'll continue to be held hostage by discomfort if you keep letting your impulses run the show. The Stoics weren't superhumans with magical powers. They were normal people who understood how the mind works and developed practical techniques to deal with its flaws. The difference between them and most people? They stopped expecting life to be easy, stopped victimizing themselves, and took responsibility for the only territory that really belonged to them, their own minds. So, what discomfort will you embrace today? What challenging step will you take? What moment of pain will you transform into a lesson? Because the Stoics knew your freedom isn't found in a life without problems, but in your unshakable capacity to face and use problems. And that, unlike almost everything else in life, is 100% under your control. Now go and give that comfort zone a Stoic punch.